Okay. How you doing? Michelle,
Hello.
how are you doing?
Hi,
Nice to see you.
Great, we're good to go. Well, thank you. Welcome, head coach Phil Neville. If you have a question in the room, please raise your hand. We'll get started with Lauren.
Thank you, Rafa. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Lauren.
We were talking to Chris before, and he was mentioning how important fans are to this club. The club is even going to do an open training session so fans can get more involved with the team. How excited are you to welcome fans back this season?
Well, I think they're the the heart and soul of this football club, and there wasn't many positives from my point of view last season, but the support that we received from our supporters was the biggest plus. The biggest thing that I thought was last season. They stuck with us through thick and thin. They supported us. They never stopped singing, chanting, supporting us throughout the whole season in difficult moments and in good moments. And I always feel as if the true test of a set of supporters within a sports organisation is when things aren't going well. How do they behave and what are they like? And I think what they proved and what they showed last season is that this set of supporters are here for the long haul, and they understand everything that we're doing. They're understanding and support for the players and for myself and for the rest of the organisation. I think makes me really proud to be associated with that group of supporters. And I think every day from the end of the season till now, part of my main focus is to give those supporters some success, because I think they deserve it.
Next question, Michelle, and then Franco.
Lots of questions on day one. We'll start with one. Just what are your first impressions of the training today? Everyone is, there's a lot of youth, a lot of new players. We have no idea who these guys are. We're trying to figure out by the color of their boots. What did you see? I know you were looking for youth and hunger, and were there a few players? I know they're all probably wonderful, but are there a few players that really stood out to you in the first day of training?
But what did you think? Was there anything different than what you saw? Because I saw lots that were different.
Well, it looked fast. It looked faster.
Yeah,
And
I think
the pace was, just livelier.
I think if you think about the profile and the characteristics of the players that we've brought in, youth, energy, speed, hungry, and I think that's a real important word: hunger to succeed, hunger to develop, hunger to work hard, and that's what we've seen. And we saw it today, but we've seen it for the last 2 months in terms of sort of like the programs we've been putting them on and the conversations that we've been having. And I know Chris has just done the press conference. Then no player has come into this building this season that we haven't vetted, watched, got a lot of background information on, and more importantly, had face-to-face conversations with before they signed on the dotted line. That was the one thing that I thought was massively important in the players that we brought in. We brought in a certain type of player, and first and foremost, a player that's got great character, a player that's a really good person, that's willing to come here to play football, to be part of a team, and someone that's really hungry to succeed and hungry to develop and hungry to be a part of a team, to be successful. And that's why I'm sitting here today, probably in a miles better mindset, confident than what I was probably a year ago when I sat here, in terms of not knowing the players that I was coming in to manage.
Were there any that stood out to you? Anyone that jumped out to you there?
Well, McVeigh, one of the central defenders. We haven't obviously got Damien Lowe with us. McVeigh's come in, and he's a player that hasn't said that much at this moment in time, but just does his talking on the football field, and it's that type of player that I like. No frills, no histrionics, no drama. Comes into work, does his job, he's a part of a team, goes out onto the field, does his job, works hard, runs as far as he can, tackles as hard as he can, and does the job that he's asked of. And that probably you could say the same for Mo Adams, for Lassiter, for Quinteros, Campagna, Emerson, all the new players that have been on the training field today.
Next question, Franco. Then we go to Jose.
Hey, Phil.
Hey, Franco.
You touched on last year, at the end of last year, how you wanted to make changes to have this team reflect more of your team. and Chris's team, your vision for what this team can be. Is this the team that Phil Neville wants for 2022? Is it as close as you're going to get, or do you still have some pieces you want to go? And if so, how much is introducing more speed into the team a priority? You guys have obviously had a lot of younger pieces. With that comes obviously some natural speed. So how close is this to being your team?
Well, I think we're close. There's still probably another couple of pieces to put to the jigsaw, but and we're always looking to keep improving. But I think what me and Chris discussed at length, you think about the away trips we had and the amount of times we spent together. And this wasn't just at the last game of the season. This was probably 6 months into the season, or maybe even earlier. We knew we had to make big decisions, and we needed to be brave. And we were willing to do that. And there's been a big turnaround, and we've had to make some really, really tough decisions for the good of the organisation and for the good of the football team. And we've been really pleased about how we've got out the ones that we wanted to get out, and we've brought in the ones that we've wanted to bring in. And there's been a lot of hard work by a lot of people, the recruitment team. You think about the work that Chris has done off the field in terms of putting the foundations with the performance team, the fitness team, the scouting team. We're now not just signing players just because a friend of a friend knows someone that's good, or an agent that's close to someone. We're signing players because they've been watched 20, 30, 40 times by 5-6 people, and we know all about their family history, everything that they've done in their career we know about. So we're not signing players now off a whim. We're signing players because they fit into what we believe is our team. And I think that's all you need, or that's all you ask for as a manager, is to put your own imprint on your own team. And there are no excuses. There are no excuses now. I feel as if I've had input. We've worked really hard in the off season. We've brought in the type of player that we wanted, and we needed to do that. We needed to have a fresh new team. This is a reset button for the organisation, and I feel as if it's exciting with young players and young people in general. You get people that are fearless. You get people that go out there and play. You get people that have not been burned or had bad experiences in the past, and that's what we needed to get rid of. A lot of players in that dressing room last season had probably been burnt for the last 18 months about negativity with bad results, bad performances, giving goals away. Now there's none of that left in the dressing room, and the players that are left are the players that we wanted to keep, and the players that are coming in are fresh and hungry and fearless.
Next question, Jose.
I feel.
Jose.
I wanted to ask you about Quinteros, and now that you mentioned Campana, I'll throw him in as well to the same question. How important is it for these players to come in and adjust quickly to what MLS is as a league as a whole? And what part does that play when you scout these players and you want to bring them in, knowing that they will be able to adjust quickly to everything that goes on in the league?
Well, Quinteros is one that he was with us last year. We loaned out for experience, and rightly so. We had a lot of central defenders last year. Quinteros I knew when I was at Valencia. He was in the year above Harvey. He was in Harvey, I think it was in Infantil. He was in Juvenil. Used to watch him play and saw him develop. So he's not new to me. The thing I kept thinking about over the summer was when we was looking at the centre-back situation, we want centre-backs that can defend. We want centre-backs that can do the job. And I looked at Jairo Quinteros and you look at scouting all over the world, you look at bringing in certain defenders, and I kept seeing Quinteros playing against the best strikers in the world. Luis Suarez, the Argentinian strikers, the Costa Rican strikers, and this boy was playing every week in the centre back for Bolivia against the best strikers in this part of the world. So we had someone right under our noses that was in our football club that wanted to play for Inter Miami. So we spoke long and hard about the centre back situation, and with McVeigh, with Quinteros, with Frey, with Mabika, we've got 4 outstanding young defenders. Ian Frey last year would have played in the MLS if it wasn't for an ACL injury. Mabika played 2 games in the MLS and was outstanding in both games. So the minute that we saw Mabika play last year in them 2 games, we knew he was going to be an MLS defender this year, and an MLS defender in the shape that we wanted to be. And Quinteros will fit into that back 3 or 4 that we're going to play. Add into that Damien Lowe, who probably is the elder statesman of the group, the leader, the experienced head at the back, who we've watched for the last 12 to 18 months. We've watched more of Damian Lowe than anyone in the World Cup qualifying, the Gold Cup games, so we know what we're getting there. So it's quite exciting to see those young players at the back develop. Quinteros is one of them. They will make mistakes, like all defenders do, like all young defenders do, but they'll do it from a basis of wanting to learn and wanting to get better. And they're all quick, they're all strong, and they're all determined to fight for a place in the back four.
We're going to take a couple of questions from the call. First, Rebecca from Sky Sports.
Hi, Phil. How are you?
Hey, Rebecca.
I've only got one question because I know you're very short of time, so I hope you don't mind me asking a UK-based one. You obviously played for Everton for a long time. Rafa Benitez was sacked yesterday. I just wanted your reaction and who you think going forward would be a good fit for the club.
Well, I think Everton is one, is a club close to my heart, and it's never nice seeing a fellow manager losing his job. But the thing I keep thinking about is I want Everton to be successful. So I hope they bring in the best person for the job that will get those supporters and Goodison Park rocking again like it can do. The club needs positivity around itself. It's been difficult 6 months for the club in terms of the results, etc., off the pitch. So I can only wish them all the best. I hope they find the right appointment. I played for probably one of the best Everton managers in David Moyes, and the blueprint that he had was similar to the blueprint that we want here in terms of, he went out there, recruited the right people for the team. Good young hungry people, good young hungry players that went out there and played the Everton way, which is a high tempo, direct type of football on that tight pitch at Goodison that caused problems for a lot of top teams. So I just hope that Everton find someone like that can bring success to the football club, because it is one of the Premier League's great football clubs.
We'll go to Jack.
And your brother now going into all right, thank you. I was going to ask about your brother going into politics as well.
Is he? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not spoke to him for a bit, so.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you answering my questions. Cheers.
Thank you.
Next question, Jack, then Felipe.
Hi, Phil. How you doing?
Jack, how are you doing?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. Just wanted to ask, we've had a whole host of games in the Premier League be postponed due to Omicron and COVID in general. Is that something that you're planning for in the MLS this season, given that it looks like the peak is yet to come in the US?
Well, we've got really strict protocols out here. This started last week when the players came back into market. We're really strict in terms of what the players can and can't do. We're really strict in terms of the testing protocols, and we're really strict in terms of the quarantine period and the return to play after a player has had COVID. So it was something that we've experienced for the last 2 years, and it's frustrating that you lose players, but it's become part and parcel in the way of the world. And I think that the way that the MLS have dealt with this, I think, has been fantastic. They've took every measure, every preventative measure. They've encouraged every single player and staff member to get the vaccine and to get the booster, because that will make everybody obviously safer, because that's what the experts say. And to have strict protocols in terms of what players can and can't do, and in terms of areas they go to, about whether the single room, double rooms, the split dressing rooms were still on split dressing rooms. So the players at this football club and in the MLS, I think have become really, really professional. They've handled the situation really, really well in terms of the COVID protocols and processes, because they realise that will help them, one, first and foremost, be safe and health-wise for them and their family, and two, it will mean that they can get out onto the football pitch and play. And we have lost players from training and through matches through the COVID protocols. And I think what our stance is, particularly at this football club, is that we back ourselves to bring the young player up. We did it with Edison Ascona, Josh Penn last year, with Sami Khedira, with Amir Mabika when we were really down to the bare bones through injury and illnesses. We back our youth system to come up and put young players on the pitch. And to make sure that we fulfill every fixture that's out there. And I think that's think we have an obligation to that. We trust our academy coaches, we trust our academy players, we trust the process of this football club of giving youth opportunity, and we would never use that as an excuse to try and cancel a game.
Last question, Felipe.
Thank you, Rafa. Phil, this is Felipe Cardenas with The Athletic. Happy New Year. Thanks for jumping on. Thank you. Two questions for you. Do you feel that last year's team, perhaps the way it was constructed and the players and the personalities, the sort of profiles that were on that team, did they not fit your vision? And then the second question is, does this roster deconstruction, the fact that it's a new team, it's a younger team, you've mentioned the inexperience that we'll see this year, does that merit a change in philosophy and tactics? Will this team continue to want to keep the ball, play from the back, or will we see perhaps a more direct team?
Well, I think, what was your first question again? Sorry.
Was last year's team built for you as well? Did that team fit the vision that you want to play in, and compared to this team that you have now?
I think we had great players last year. I think we had really good individuals. And there was a period in the season, in the middle of the season, when we went on a really good run that the team started to show their quality. But I always felt that we were never a team. We were always a team with where individuals felt they were more important than the team, and I felt that very early on in terms of the roster. The best players don't always make the best team. And what we've tried to do this season is bring in really good team players, players that will fit into the system and the style of play that we want, and bring in players that will help us to compete in this league, help us to win football games. This club is massively ambitious. We've got an ownership that want to win, the ownership that want to be the biggest and best club in the world. So we've brought in players that can set the foundations for us to be successful. But more important is for us to compete every single week as a team. And we said it at the start of the press conference about the profile and characters of the players that we've brought in are those of one that we can develop, we can improve, and we can fit into the makeup of how we want to build the team. And yes, there's probably one or two parts, the cherries on the cake to come into the team that will give us that extra quality, that will give us that little finishing touches that every team need. But I think what's really, really important is that this team and this squad that we've put together has been put together because of the right characters that we want to bring in. We want to bring good people into this organization to build a really good culture, a culture of hard work, a culture of winning. And you need certain players and certain individuals with certain characters to do that. And we feel as if the work that we've done over the off season, particularly on and off the pitch, bringing in Dawn Scott and the performance changes that we've made means that we will be fitter and faster and stronger, hopefully, with the work that we've put in, and we will have a better cohesion on the pitch. And yes, with the new team and the big changes that we've made, we have to remain patient. We have to remain patient and let this team grow and develop. But if we do our jobs right and we put them together and we connect together as a team with on the pitch and off the pitch, then I think we can compete in this league.
We'll actually do one last one with Michelle.
You talk about Gonzalo and just what his attitude is, how he came in this year. How do you see him? What conversations have you had with him? He's kind of the last DP standing here.
Yeah, well, I think we spoke probably every day from the last day of the season to today. And what I've been speaking to Gonzalo about, and what Gonzalo's been speaking to me about, we've been speaking about his legacy at this football club. How does he want to be remembered at this football club? And he has been really, really strong about he wants to be remembered as a winner. He wants to be remembered in good terms. He wants to be remembered as someone that came to the MLS and into Miami and succeeded and won. And you look at the way that he was training this morning. You look at the physical shape that he was in. That's someone that is got massive motivation to leave an outstanding legacy at this football club. And he has got a massively important role to play this year with those younger players. I've told him he's got to lead from the front. I've told him he's got to be an example. And that example starts on day one, not on day 10, not on day 20, not 4 weeks into the season. The example starts on day one, because these players, when they come into the building, the first player they want to meet is Gonzalo Higuain. He is the face of this organization on the football pitch. And we spoke a lot about that over the summer, and he's highly motivated. I think the changes have really motivated him in terms of his competition for places, in terms of his role now within the dressing room. He's lost probably all the friends that he had in the dressing room in terms of the ones that he would sit with. So he's got to make massive efforts now to connect with the rest of the team, and to lead this group of young players to success. And I always say about Gonzalo last season, he never missed a day's training, and he never missed a minute of the game apart from the ones that I took him out of through injury. And that shows you the hunger and desire and durability that man's got. And he's going to have to show the same this season and add on the other bits in terms of his leadership.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.